crypticians and coins, welcome to my channel. My name is Natalie and I am honored to have Andy on my channel today. How are you, Andy?
I'm doing absolutely great, Natalie. Thank you for inviting me on your channel. Just ask any question. Let's just go with it.
Let's go straight to the charts because I know a lot of people want to know what you see on Bitcoin right now.
It's always good to have some different opinions. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. I like to take a look at some other analysts also. Right then, well, let's just go here to the weekly chart, and I'm just going to see some. I'm seeing something here on the weekly chart, and this is looking at the Coinbase chart. Okay, I've seen some other analysts talk about this, but I was also eyeing this already back in the summer of 2021, where I just want to talk about volume. All right, right now with the current situation, because what is good to see on the weekly is high volume when you are actually having a big massive pump, or you could potentially be peaking out or potentially bottoming out. And volume is a really good indicator on the weekly to find out if we are potentially near the bottom or near the top. And I want to give you an example here on Bitcoin. The last few years, all right, let's just this is the logarithmic chart looking at the last few years. It's something that I want to point out that is pretty important in my opinion, because I'm just going to get a horizontal line here on the volume, just so you can see, the large spikes in volume, right? We can see this yellow horizontal line where these spikes of volume, end up, right? We've got a few spikes here in volume, as you can see. So, if we go as back as, 2018, the November of 2018, we had a big, massive drop. Okay. This was kind of the bottom of the Bitcoin bear market back in 2018, where we also had a spike in volume right over here. Right. This one's slightly below this yellow horizontal line, but you can see there is a spike different to the other volume, as you can see, right? There's no volume here during these months and no volume during these months. All right. And then we had this spike in November of 2018, which actually indicated, a bottom here. The price didn't successfully continue a downtrend after having this spike in volume. Okay, so we could actually put this around about this level, right? Because you can see there's not many spikes during some months over here on the chart on Bitcoin. Different spikes. We have this one also. Okay, the first one that we've talked about is this one right over here. This one indicating a local top. As you can see, this was July of 2019. The spike in volume indicating a top. Also, this one right over here, this was March of 2020, an absolutely insane crash. We had also this major spike. You can see the price where it actually bottomed out. We didn't successfully continue to the downside here successfully once we actually had this spike in volume. So what we can see here also, there's one spike. This was one local top here. We had a little bit of a retracement, then we continue to the upside. This is the only one, okay, that we can see that it actually continued to the upside. And then we have the May of 2021 ultimate crash that a lot of people remember, where we went from 60,000 all the way down to 30,000 in less than 2 weeks. As you can see right over here, huge spike, one of the biggest ones. It was actually a local bottom here also, where we hit the $30,000. We were trading a couple of months here sideways, but not successfully going to lower levels, as you can see. And what has happened here just last week is that we've had another big spike in volume. So if you take the average of the spikes in volume, okay, for the last few years, that does indicate a potential bottom or a top. You could, take the percentage and the probability saying, okay, there's a higher probability here that we are probably not going to successfully break down the $25,000 low that we did create last week. Okay, so could we have volatility at 25K or even slightly below? Yes. But the point I want to indicate here is that we are not going to successfully have a bigger downtrend, okay, in the next coming weeks, few months. I do see, potential consolidation, potentially just slightly above $25,000 or around about that range, and then get a relief rally. And this is why I just wanted to show you, okay, how this, it's a pretty cool, just seeing the weekly volume, how they have indicated, a local bottom range or a local top, as you can see here on the chart. So this is just looking at probabilities. There's a high probability that we are maybe close to the bottom. This doesn't mean we cannot retest 25K or even dip slightly below, because we had that scenario here in 2018 where the low here was exactly at $3,456, and we went as low as 3,170 approximately. So just, a few $100 sideways, and this is what could happen on Bitcoin. But I do not see Bitcoin actually going to hit $20,000, the last all-time high, successful downtrend in the coming weeks. That is just my personal opinion, just looking at this volume data, which I think is pretty amazing. So let's just jump in here straight into the weekly, and this is something that I have been eyeing. Okay, a kind of potential descending wedge where we do have this low created in September, all right, where we had this pump, this higher low, and then we had this rally all the way hitting all-time highs. And we can see that we created this low in January, and I just decided to create a trend line from these lower highs and these lower lows, and it does look like we're forming a kind of a descending wedge. And we actually got, we dipped slightly below it, but looking at the weekly, as long as we don't close a weekly below this range, I think we could potentially get supported from this level for that relief rally in the next coming weeks, maybe potential months. There's something that I'm eyeing also, and it's going to be very, very hard for Bitcoin. VPVI is a good indicator that I like to take a look at sometimes, because it shows you, value areas, okay, where they're really, really strong, massive accumulation or distribution, big volumes. And you can see here back in 2021, where we did create this major low. I think a lot of people are talking about this, but, you cannot ignore this, where you are creating, this low round about the $30,000 range, how many times it's got supported. And yes, I know that the more times you touch a support, the more likely it is to get broken. But there has been such a huge accumulation zone at this range that it needs a lot of selling pressure. I think most of the people are more interested in buying Bitcoin below $30,000 than actually selling at below $30,000. I think it's already an accumulation zone, right? People are more interested in buying below $30,000, of course. You should be more interested in selling at the top and buying, while the price is going to much lower levels. This is, of course, if you're looking at, an accumulation, buy and hodl for the long term. If you're a trader, it doesn't matter. We're here to make money down or up, right? So, this is just something on the weekly. And I think, there is a possibility that we can hit $25,000. That we can. I know we did a collaboration just today, a few hours ago, and we know that you said that we potentially can fill this wick, and I think it's very, very possible. We like to fill the wicks on the weekly. We can see it over here. You come back down and actually retest it, and then maybe we might create a double bottom or a triple bottom, just something like we created here. So I think this is very, very possible. So zooming in here on the 4-hourly chart, all right, what we have here, what I'm talking about on Bitcoin, a lot of people are talking about a symmetrical triangle that we had here, a kind of a symmetrical triangle. I just didn't see it as a symmetrical triangle. It's just too much volatility here to the downside, to the upside. And what I was seeing here on Bitcoin is, also this descending neckline. This is on the 4-hourly, this from these lower highs. And, this kind of inverse head and shoulder right there. It's not the most beautiful, because, this neckline is a little bit too aggressive to the downside, but you can actually see the price, breaking out and bouncing from this range. So this is acting as heavy support. And I do think, if we do, we actually broke out from this ascending channel right now. I do think that, I think we're going to get rejected from this range, the $30,000 level. We're not going to successfully get back in and potentially have another leg down on Bitcoin in the next coming hours, next few days. This is looking at the 4-hourly chart. So, this is what I think could happen on Bitcoin. But I have a feeling that we are not going to successfully break down $25,000 range. I think there is a very likelihood that we are going to create a double bottom, or a double bottom with a slightly higher low. And I am targeting in between $27,000 and $28,000 in my channel, because we have an important 4-hourly close right there. We have this descending, trend line where we did get supported once, well, actually a few times on the 4-hourly. And I think, if we do come down in between today and tomorrow, we could potentially get that bounce from this range. And, I'm also looking at Fibonacci levels that from this low to the high, look potentially that 618, whereas we got the 4-hourly candle close, we got this trend line, this is if it's going to be in between today and tomorrow. We do have that rollback down. I think we could get potentially supported, but I do think that we should be going down to those levels. I think we are probably not going to go higher from this range. And, a funny example that I want to show you, Natalie, is, a lot of people are extremely bearish right now. It is true. We can see it everywhere. The sentiment is really bearish. Crypto market is dead. Bitcoin's dead. We're going to have, multi-year bear market going to the downside, hitting 20K, 18K. And even I've heard targets of 10K, which I think is crazy. Anything can happen. Anything's a possibility. Everything's a risk. I don't think we're going to go down that low, in my personal opinion. But what I wanted to show you here is, after such an aggressive downtrend, how low can we go? Because nothing goes straight forever. Nothing goes down forever. Some potential big relief rallies the next coming weeks, I think, is very, very possible for Bitcoin. And, a clear example that I can show you right over here, is this price action that we did have in January. Of course, we do not want to find the bottom. We don't pick the bottom because, it's very, very difficult. But look at this kind of price action that happened back in January of 2021, where we did have, these kind of higher lows over here. It was a kind of a ascending wedge or ascending channel, if you wish. All right. And you would have thought here that the price of Bitcoin is going to roll back down, right, and retest the lows, or maybe a double bottom, or actually break down, because that is what, market structure is. You're having a big, massive downtrend. You think, this is just a pullback and you're going to go and come down. And what happened here is that we broke the trend line to the downside, and we actually flipped back up again. And there is a possibility, this is why it's only probabilities. We're looking at probabilities. And I think, this could actually happen where we actually break in from this higher low structure. We're probably going to fail here, come to lower levels, and then maybe have a potential reversal, because as so many people bearish, there were a lot of people bearish here in January. It's something very similar, I think, could happen here also on Bitcoin, where we're not going to successfully even maybe retest 25K or drop down below and create a double bottom or a higher low slightly and have a reversal relief rally for the next coming weeks. And that is basically my opinion right now on the chart, Natalie.
Yeah, I think we have the same, we see the same thing on the charts. I also think that market will come back down to give us a last fake out, a last touch of the support, and then slowly and steady see the market soon reverse back up. So while people are bearish, we are bullish.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I know, this is the thing. I will be really bullish at these levels if we do come down there. I would be waiting for that kind of reaction. If we start seeing, a wick, if we start seeing a few, 4-hourly or daily candles, I'm not sure if we're going to have a few days here, but definitely a few 4-hourly candles at this range showing that reaction that we're not breaking successfully this low. I think it's a huge opportunity. I think we're going to potentially create a big double bottom. Like I showed you here, we have this major weekly volume. Okay. And, the $30,000, huge, strong support. I mean, supports are there to break down, especially more time to retest. But, also the volume is an incredible indicator here to see that potential bottom on Bitcoin, as you can see many times. So I'm looking at the probabilities here, and probabilities on my side is saying that we're not going to successfully break down $25,000 and that we're very close to the bottom.
Basically at a very, very good level right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm getting ready my swing long positions.
Is there anything that you want to say to my community?
Guys, stay safe by trading. Don't be sad because we are in a bear market. I am actually really excited. I see these price targets of people calling for Bitcoin at $20,000, $10,000. If we do go there to those levels, I am going to buy a huge bunch of Bitcoin. And I'm really excited if that does happen. I won't be sad if we go down to $20,000 or even to $10,000, because I know there will be a comeback on the price of Bitcoin and crypto in general. And we do not know if it's going to be next year, in 2024, 2025, but I think the future is bright for the next few years. So if we do come down, it is a great time to accumulate.
You have Andy's link to his YouTube channel. You also go through cryptocurrencies every single day, 7 days a week. So don't forget to go in and subscribe to your channel. Andy's super great, super good when it comes to crypto trading, etc. Thank you so much, Andy, for joining my channel.
Thank you very much for having me, Natalie, and I'll see you.